And we are live.
Yo, paranormal peeps. It's paranormal now coming to you live. We have a bit of a story for you. I'm with my good friend Jared. Are you alright, Jazz?
I'm alright, but I'm still suffering, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
You getting there? Yeah. Well, basically we've gone live because we talked about it on the channel. I talked a bit about it in the last now debate, but we're sort of talking about the effects of Storm Dennis, and I got to meet Mr. Jeremy Corbyn today, so that was quite interesting,
Oh,
to
there you
say the
go.
least.
Ooh.
Yeah, do you know what? I got to be honest. It kind of, I really, as politicians go, I did admire Mr. Corbyn. I do admire him. Listen, I do, and I liked the way he went about his business. And he talked about it today. It was basically Brexit and the media that cost him his role as prime minister. And I, you can't really deny that, can you? To be honest with you.
No. But I think what we need to do, my friend, is take people on this journey that you've been on this week, because you've had quite a harrowing week. I think
Yes.
you've had quite the week, my friend. For first of all, I think I speak for both of us. Our hearts go out to everyone that's been affected by Storm
Oh,
Dennis. There are people in the town I grew up in Pentra, that have been flooded
really?
today.
Again today.
In Lewis Street, in the park I used to play in as a kid, has been flooded. There's people in Treorchy that have been flooded, but Pontypridd is one of the places over the weekend that is the most surprising. And I lived in Pontypridd for several years of my life. I actually lived not far from you, down in Hawthorne, for a good 3 years of my life. And I love Pontypridd, but maybe not so much on a Friday night out, because it can be a bit, crazy. And I'm a very calm and collected kind of guy, but yeah, it's the place I grew up in, and to see the devastation that's happened because of the storm and the weather, the freak weather that we've been having lately. I know that we have had incidents like this in the 60s and in the 80s, but in my lifetime, at least in the 38 years that I've been on the earth, I've not seen anything like this.
No, I mean, well, the night we sort of had Storm Dennis coming in on the Saturday night, and we were talking about the we were going to do a little segment called Now News. Yeah, weren't we?
Which we are going to carry on doing, hopefully.
Yes, yes, we are. I thought I had a bit of news. I thought, well, Storm Dennis is coming in. I'll try and make it a bit humorous because we could do with a bit of light art in this.
Yep.
And so I thought I'd go and do a weather report. So I was going to film myself doing just the Now News, and then I was going to say over to Dick Windy down in Porthcawl with the weather report. And so then I was going to obviously skip over to me in Porthcawl going, yo, paranormal peeps. And it's, well, I filmed the wind. We got out and filmed the wind. And it was incredible. I think it was topping at the time up to about 70 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. And it was incredible. I mean, the waves coming over. It's a local sort of landmark for storms that people go down there and watch these storms. It's dangerous. I'm not going to say it's not. But you basically see the waves coming over the pier, and it's quite something, like the harbour, the wall. And so we went back down in the night, and it was tamping down. The rain was incredible. So I didn't do much filming. We decided to drive back to Ponty. And we thought we'd check. There's a bridge in Ponty. I can't think of the name of the bridge off the top of my head. But it's just a walk bridge. It's an old, really old, it must be, well, it's got to be up to 100 years old, that bridge.
Is that the one going into the park?
No, that is the bridge. It's basically going from the one end of Rivelin into the bottom end of the Broadway into Forest.
I know, yes. I know that
Yeah,
bridge, yeah.
Well, we pulled up today at about 2:30 in the morning and got out to have a look at it because the river was just touching the road and it was actually hitting the walkway of the bridge. And a big tree came out of the water. And this is not a branch, no, this is a tree. It's actually, there's pictures of it on Facebook, there's pictures of it on the news. Because it's hanging off the bridge now. It's sort of like stuck to the bridge. Well, this tree came out of the water, and I remember thinking, wow, that's pretty scary. I was standing on the bridge was shaking. The next thing, a big sort of septic tank, you're talking, say, about transit van sort of size, Ford transit van size, just came out of the water like something from a monster movie, which is pretty incredible. And it had gone into the bridge. The tree had pulled it down, so it was like sort of trapped under the water, and then it released. And my girlfriend was saying, we shouldn't be doing this. She was worried, she was nervous. So we drove home. And within 25 to 30 minutes of getting home, getting into bed, I was watching YouTube videos, because we've just seen what was paranormal, what's going on YouTube and on social media. And the next thing I know, there was, an explosion is the only way I can. I've heard years ago there was we had a freak black ice incident in Pontypridd and all over South Wales, and I saw a lorry drive through about 11 cars on the A470, and I was standing next to a police officer, and his police officer's car was down on the A470 as well, getting absolutely destroyed. And that's the close, that's the closest sound I can give you to the noise of this explosion, and that's what it sounded like, an explosion. So I jumped up because there's a video on our channel of me filming UFOs, Dan.
Yes.
Yeah, and basically I jumped out, looked out towards Power Station Hill, because I honestly thought it was either something crashed, and I did go through my mind that it could have been a UFO. So I jumped up, looked out the window, and I couldn't see nothing. And the house, it's hard to describe this feeling. I'm lying in bed, and I felt the sound, the boom, and every single object in this house shook. So I run to the front, and there is a waterfall where our gardens are. And
shall we see some of the video? Shall we show some of the video evidence that we have here, or that you have taken?
Yeah. Well, these two videos are about, I'd say, 20 minutes after.
Well, I was going to show you the ones from Porthcawl first.
Okay.
So we can see the storm coming in, and then we'll go into the videos then that you shot during the aftermath of what you experienced.
Right, let's do it.
So, are you able to watch from your end?
I am.
Okay, then we'll go into the first video. So this is Dick Windy. This is Dick Windy with the weather. So maybe not how we originally anticipated it, but this is the idea for Dick Windy. And this is how a situation that started off quite light-hearted, we got unimaginably bad very quickly. So I will play that now, and then we'll go into the next video straight away, because you're kind of making a bit of a joke of it in this video, unbeknownst as to what was about to happen to you. But this just goes go on.
Well, you can't actually hear me, and I did make a joke about the pier, because the pier is haunted. It's a famous sort of ghost video that was done by the security guards, and I actually turn and say, this is the famous haunted pier of Porthcawl. Well, it was haunted, but I think the ghost is further down towards the caravans now because of the wind.
Yeah.
And you can't actually, I don't think you actually hear one word that I'm shouting. I am shouting.
So we'll go over to this video now, and what we can do then, we'll come back with you before we go into the last two videos. So we're going to do that right now. And we'll be back with you in a sec. So take a look at the weather report from Saturday from Dick Windy.
Yo, para peeps. just down on the old Porthcawl front by here, reporting on the new storm Dennis. As you know, we got hit by Storm Ciara last weekend, and this one is out in the North Atlantic, and it's been moved up to a force 4 hurricane. I don't know what all the fuss is about, to be honest. If you listen, it's not that bad. I think the only way to find out is to get out in it. What do you reckon? See you in a bit.
So guys, we are back with you on the chat. So that was Dick. That was Dick Windy.
That was Dick Windy. Literally. Well, I think if you want to know, if it's a good reference, if you want to know what an 80-mile-an-hour gust looks like, there it is. I actually look 20 years younger because my face is nearly round the back of my head. Yes, that was, as you can see, quite something. I mean, I'm actually holding on to the wall there at some points, and it was... The thing is, I know I've asked lots of people this. Now, I can't remember seeing the news saying this is going to be probably one of the biggest storms in history.
Well, no, actually, Wales Online put it out on the Friday that this was going to be not as bad as Storm Ciara.
Well, they got that wrong. Yeah, I mean we've done videos on the things we've got wrong on the old Now debate, but they got that wrong. Because I saw a video, it's old M333, and he put a video up, and I saw this thing, and he got a photo of the International Space Station, and it couldn't take a picture of this storm because it was too big. This reports that it was like up to 230 upward miles an hour winds near the center of this storm. I mean, I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, I did not hear about that from anywhere. That you know how ferocious Storm Dennis was. So that was kind of a shock, to be honest with you.
Well, so you got home and you said it was like a 30-minute window that this had happened within. And as I said, it must have been someone looking out for you, because the timing on this, what happened to you was something crazy.
Well, it was 20 minutes later, and where I parked for that bridge, I was under 6 foot of water. So my car is it's been lowered, it's kind of low, and it would have been just underwater, and I dread to think. That's kind of frightened Emma, my partner, because it was basically driving from there to the house in that 20-minute window. It could have been seconds after we left, but in that 20-minute window, that river burst its banks, and the people down there have been devastated. Some of their cars have washed into the river. Their cars floated off. My own sister's lost her car because it was in Treforest Industrial Estate down by Nancarrow, and her car was in the garage down there, and that was completely underwater. You couldn't even see the roof. And the people down the bottom end. But yeah, in that short space of time, we heard this bang, and there are supposed to be alarms on the culvert, like air raid sirens, if the level gets too much. And we were told, we don't know if this is true, but they turned them off in the last maintenance check and didn't turn them back on. But if the wall hadn't come down, then our downstairs would have been completely submerged. There is no doubt about it. The structure, the design of this part of this estate that I live on is a bowl. It is one of the weirdest and most crazy designs to build in front of a culvert, because obviously the culvert was there before the estate. And it just filled up like a bowl. And I said this on the news today. I said this to we had the BBC, ITV, Wales Online, the Daily Mail. We had every sort of, we had loads of media coverage because Mr. Corbyn came up today, but it went from ankle height to just under my waist, like in the middle of my thighs, in probably less than 30 seconds. So if you can imagine how much water that is, I've never. I fell into water that's quite dangerous, like quite in winter, and I travelled for quite some distance down this river before I managed to pull myself in, and that was terrifying. But this was equally as terrifying, and this was in a street. It was it's not something. I mean, the noise will probably stay with me forever. But the feeling of that and the cold, oh my lord! I think it was something like 2.5, above freezing that night, and the water. And I had to go because basically we managed to get these floodgates on my house and my partner's sister's house, which is next door, and then. I did that, I tightened them up, and then I had to rip this fence down, and it was to my thighs, and that's how quick it went from my ankles to that point.
Yeah,
go on.
You actually went and you were waking other people up and actually helping them as well.
But yeah, after I did that, I ripped the fence down, and our water sort of that really did make a massive difference. The water just dispersed so quickly, but the curb, sort of like the path, drops down again, and the poor people, the last 5 houses on our road, they were just devastated. I managed to go up around the car park, and that was waist height, and I had to go in a bit deeper then, and I can remember just shouting at the top of my voice. I was swearing because that water was so cold. And I was just like trying to run through it as fast as I could, try and pull down the fences of the bottom road to save them. Yeah. And I managed to get there. I did that. I knocked the window. The guy sort of gave me a thumbs up. I said, "I'm sorry, mate. I've just ripped your fence down." And he was like, because he could just see the water sort of disappearing.
Yeah.
Just drop. It only dropped down to say just over knee height, but because of the wall and the actual structure of the street. But the houses behind, they went up to probably over my waist. And I woke a couple of them up, and there was a couple already up because of the bang of the wall. Kind of woke, quite a few people up.
Yeah.
But I was ripping that fence down, and I had wellies on, and I can remember the force of that water, and I had to hold on to the house because the force of the water coming past me was incredible. I watched Emma's sister. I watched the shed float off, and it was like Jack Sparrow could have been riding it. It just sail away, and it was, yeah. And I changed like 4 times that night because I kept going back out to try and help as many people as I could. And then it was only the next day that we actually seen the devastation, the real devastation that Pontypridd had gone through, and the surrounding area. And then poor people. Just from my experience was bad, but they added up to their, above their bottom window. That's incredible.
So we'll take a look at the next 2 videos. They're very short, guys. So we'll take a quick look at them now, and we'll come back and read some of your comments from the chat. So if you just bear with me a second, we're going to go over to that now.
Fucking what it looks like. I know. The walls pushed it over. Be careful, Sarah, right? Yeah. That's not doing it justice. Well, that is the front of the house. You can't see, but we're completely underwater. I can't speak because I've been trying to help people. And the culvert's burst. That is actually a wall. I found some more.
That one's a right way.
And the score is now 2-2 on things we have got wrong on the now debate. And we have literally just we now have the blind round because that footage clip was upside down.
Yeah, he wasn't paranormal, folks. I know he looked like the water was actually going on.
It's just the fact that I was too blind to see it. Richard, you still with us? I think we have lost Richard. Bear with us. Richard, are you still with us? Right, we're going to ring Richard back. We have seemed to have lost Richard. Richard, are you with us?
Yeah, have you got me?
Yeah. Your call dropped there, my friend.
Well, on that topic, I want to talk about something kind of weird. Well, all the press turned up, right?
Yeah.
And everybody in that street and what people were saying, the internet just dropped out. And we did find it a bit, I mean went to zero. And I did find it
Again, we are sorry for the inconvenience, guys. We have just lost Richard again. I'm just going to try and get him back.
oh no.
You're back. Yeah. So, what, like that then? Is it?
No, it dropped out for the entire time they were there, and then came back when they left. And that is as true as it can be. It actually dropped out for that exact time, which I found odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I am sorry. We are having problems at the moment trying to get hold of Richard. For some reason, Rich, you keep dropping out.
Have you got me now?
Yeah, I don't know whether you can go closer to your router or something.
Yeah, I think we're all right now.
Okay, you were saying, sorry?
Yeah, it was a bit odd, the fact that, the neighbours were talking about it and saying that was odd. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't just me. I was listening to them and thinking,
So, are you still with us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right, okay. So what's your sort of feeling on everything that happened today then?
Well, I mean, he brought the press up and he got.
So what was your...
Wait, yeah, I'm cutting out again for some reason. I don't know what's happening. The internet keeps dropping. I'm sorry, Jack.
Not a problem.
I will try and stay with you as best I can. Yeah, it was. I mean, it did, like I said, it got our story out because we were kind of like forgotten about, really, because we were on an estate.
Right.
And I think there were so many images.
So many...
Yes, there were so many images of the flood along the river.
Yeah.
And we sort of didn't really get any sort of like thing for it. It was only my video, there was actually, and there's a video of the water flowing down the road that actually got our story out there, if you like. And different associations like the council and everything else, kind of blaming each other, saying it's their fault because of the culvert, it's their fault because the wall fell down. We had a bit of that back and forth, and it was sporadic compared to the last time this actual road got flooded before, which is about 10 years ago, and they were out in force, and there was 3 men per house, and they worked around the clock. The climate at the moment, and and we sort of penalised for working and everything else, and it was something like that's been a bit, that's added to it, that's added to the stress of it.
You missed out, or you said about being penalised for working. Sorry, it seems that every 30 seconds on the dot you were cutting out. Rich?
That's a bit odd, that is. I don't know what to say.
This is, we are live here, so we are having some issues with the... Can you still hear us on the stream? Can you let us know on the chat, please? Because we are having some considerable issues here, and I want to make sure it's not my end. And, well, you've made it past... No, every 26 seconds you seem to be cutting out, and I have to manually bring you back in.
That's a bit strange. I don't know what to say. I could try coming off the router and just using the internet in my phone. I don't know if that'll drop me out completely, though, with the way the weather is.
I'm not entirely sure. What we'll try and do is we'll try and get you back. I'm trying to think of a way we can actually get you back another way. At the moment,
if I hang up, you ring me back, and then we'll see what that does, okay?
Okay. We are waiting for... Right, let's see if this works now then.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we are having some problems on the stream, guys. I apologise for any inconvenience this is causing. This is something that is quite strange.
Funny I was talking about that, and it started happening, innit?
26 seconds. So I'm going to just take a look now and say, let's see if we cut out now. You've made it... No, it is every 26 seconds. That's rather odd.
Yeah, that is a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, sorry guys, this is not happened before. If any of you guys on the chat got any suggestions, we keep losing Rich every 26 seconds, and the call has once again failed. What we may have to do is round this stream up, and because all right, Rich, what we'll try and do then, we'll try and I'll try and keep you on as best I can. Okay. I will. Yeah. So you were saying about the fact that you were feeling forgotten, and the fact that you'd gone and everyone's blaming each other, and there's been no sort of you're feeling there's been no help from the people in power, like the council and that sort of thing. I know there's a local councillor around you. That has been very helpful, apparently. But. Do you think now that there has been some attention brought to what's happened to you over the last few days, that something can change?
I personally don't think it's going to change anything, to be honest with you. I think we're going to be in, pardon the pun, the same boat. But, I think which is what we were looking for. We were looking for attention brought to it because it could have been a loss of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was so much that could have gone wrong in that. I mean, if somebody was walking past our wall, we've all talked about it, and we've all actually said it was lucky it was 3 o'clock in the morning and not 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. This is getting a little very difficult now to continue with this, guys. What we'll have to do, I think, is I don't know of any other way of actually contacting you, Rich. I don't think you've got Zoom on your phone, have you?
I think I've taken it off.
Yeah.
I think I took it off after we stopped doing this.
After we stopped doing...
No, I don't have it anymore, Jack.
Not a lot else that we can do then, I'm afraid, my friend.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of those times where going live hasn't really, as we're having a bit of difficulty with the old technology. I'm just going to retry it my end, okay? So I'm just gonna sort something out my end, and I'm going to contact you back. I am sorry. I'm sorry about this, guys. We are trying to get Richard back as best that we can to give his further account of today's activities and everything that has happened. And we are having some considerable difficulty keeping him on the line. Literally every 26 seconds he appears to be disappearing. So I apologise for that. Right, Richard, you're back with us.
Right.
So, is there any sort of final things or any things that you'd like to put across about this experience that you would like our para peeps listening to hear?
I mean, we've had 4 storms now, back to back, in the space of 2 weeks. And it does seem a bit bizarre, like, people, they've said Ponty is not flooded like that within the last 50 years. And when it did, it wasn't as bad.
No.
So, something's changing, something's happening. And, what's being done about it? If nothing can be done about it, say so. Prepare us for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Give us a chance. And if this is getting ridiculous now, because it has a massive effect on people's lives.
Yeah.
It needs to be addressed. If it is something to do with climate change.
My heart goes out, and I know Amanda has messaged that she has been affected by the floods. There's so many others around here, that not just around Wales but around the UK, has been affected by this flooding. And it is the coverage of it again has it's. There's not as much sort of information as to why this has been allowed to happen. There's no comeuppance, for the people who haven't put the right sort of defences in. What would you like to see moving forward?
I would like to see, obviously, better defences. Move these. If this is going to be a regular reoccurrence, these people, unfortunately, are going to have to lose their homes unless they build better flood defences. But you can only build the banking so high before it becomes structurally unsafe. They've built bankings on the rivers and dropped them on one side. They've done that in many areas, and it hasn't worked. This case, the water level rose so much in such a short space of time. And they should have known this was coming. They've got the weather reports. They should have, we need better defences, and we need people to start taking simple things seriously. Because even though that job, whoever's job it is to maintain that culvert, right, or whatever it is in our area, or monitor the rivers and make sure these things are safe, it's minute to the cost that is now faced. And it's, and that little oversight can cause devastation. And it is an important, it's these jobs need to be taken seriously. And, it seems to be at the moment, it's more about receiving money than protecting. And that seems to be a theme that, seems to be going everywhere at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
This that MP now in Wales that charged like £9,000 to travel, 168 miles. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. So if it doesn't stop, these are the things that's going to continue to keep happening.
And what about the people around you, your community, and how is the community affecting this? Around you generally, and in Pontypridd. What's your views, or what sort of feedback have you had being a member of that community, and have people been helping each other?
Well, I gotta be honest, it takes something like this to pull a community together, but they've been amazing. We've all tried to help each other, and we've all had our own things to deal with. But we've had people bringing this guy brought sausage and chips up for everyone. And there was Maureen Webb, the local councillor. She was back and forth. She was out. She changed 4 times. She was back and forth helping people, and the community has been amazing. And don't get me wrong, the association we with did come out, and they did their bit. They cleared the wall. They tried to help. They brought stuff. But it was just a time period, and it was like, I don't think they knew what to do I think they were just caught. I think, like us, they were caught unawares. Genuinely, I think they were caught unawares. I don't think nobody really sold how big Storm Dennis was going to be.
No.
And I think that was another problem. And it does seem to be that, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but especially on social media, it's been snow going to wipe out the UK.
Yeah.
And that's been since before Christmas. And I think that's been nearly probably every other weekend since like a month before Christmas. Snow is going to destroy the UK. And it's just kept happening. And I've been thinking, where's this snow? And I genuinely think I don't know if there's a part of me that thinks they don't know what the weather's going to do next. That's concerning, because it just keeps happening. So,
well, this is the thing that someone brought up to me today, that if we were just 1 or 2 degrees colder, that rain would have been snow.
Yeah.
It could have equally caused sort of devastation, but just of a different kind.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. We've got it coming this weekend, apparently. We've got all 3. I think it's a bit more up north, but we've got all 3 coming. Mr. Corbyn said, I was talking to him, and he said, how many seasons do you have a day here? And I said, we go for 4, but sometimes we'll have 6. And he said, I'll come back for the other 2. So, that is, that is true. I've actually seen that in Merthyr. I've seen it rain, sunshine, and then snow. It's we do have a crazy climate anyway, but not to this extent.
No, absolutely not. Well, I think that you for your role in everything that you did on Saturday, need to be very proud of what you did, helping to save the people's houses that you could.
Yeah.
And I think there's a bit of heroism there. I woke up on Sunday morning with tremendous back pain just to see those videos, and I rang you, and you were in quite the state on Sunday morning when I spoke to you. Yeah. But I think after everything that you'd gone through, I think you have weathered this like a champion, to be perfectly honest, my friend. And that's why I thought it would be a good idea to do this video, is just to sort of highlight, you know, just how much, as you say, there's all the sort of blame and everything, and we can mention about politicians coming and sort of, you know, raising awareness and all the rest of it. But what I've seen in this from an outsider's perspective, and I can only look at it from an outsider's perspective because I've not experienced it firsthand, and I wouldn't dare think I know what it's like to experience it firsthand. I wouldn't know how I would react in that situation. But from what I've seen of the community and the communities that have been affected by this, I think it kind of reaffirms your faith in humanity a little bit more.
Well, we've got Mr. Michael Sheen is doing an event to raise money.
Right.
We've got Mr. Carl Blythe Williams is helping with 3 events to raise money for the different functions. He does an open mic night on a Tuesday in the Merlin. You can find him on Facebook. I can't think of his title of his. Oh my lord! I will think of it. I'll put it on the page. Yeah, he's going to be doing this. Quite a few charity events going on. He's trying to raise money for people. So yeah, it does show that, you know, people, you know, do feel for others.
There's a couple in the Pop Factory as well. On I think it's like the 15th of March. They're going to get some big Welsh speaking acts and English speaking acts there as well.
Yeah, it is quite, and honestly, there's been quite a bit of support from different people and different things, and it's nice to see how it, you know, it has brought us closer together. But, and you know, and at the first hand, it shouldn't have happened in the first place. People should have been warned. And so, if there is storms coming, and you guys live in flood areas who's listening, or you know, there's that potential, you need to be on your guard. And you know, it happens in the blink of an eye.
I want to say thank you to everyone on the chat. Chris has said windy dick lol with regards to the weather. He's out in it all right. Not a good weather reporter, Rich. Don't give up your day job. That was Amanda.
My first go. It was my jacket was actually slapping me in the face so hard it was hurting. I was like, I was injured at that point as well. So it was unbelievable. I didn't really think it was gonna be like that. The car was rocking, and there was cars by the side of me rocking, and you know, shaking from the wind. But getting out in it was a different story. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on this stream. Is there any final words, Mr. Richard?
No, I am good. I think I've basically told the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. And we have put out a video this evening, which you might want to take a look. Is on the channel. It wasn't meant to go till tomorrow, but it decided to go live this evening on its own accord. So but that's got some really interesting paranormal evidence from the Kinects and from the ghost box surrounding a mining site in South Wales. So there's going to be some more videos going out next week, and in the interim we've got about 18 now lined up, and that's just based on the evidence that we've collected. But we're also looking to put out some new segments as well in the coming weeks. And also, if you want to check us out online, the web address is www.paranormalnowinvestigations.com. And if you are looking for help with the paranormal, the email address is paranormalnow@outlook.com. Thank you very much, Parapeeps, for joining us, and we will see you soon for another video. Take
care,
very good care of yourselves.
Love and light.